Hi everyone, my name is John Armstrong and I am a games designer on EA Sports WRC and a real-life rally driver, and I'm here today to take you through one of the new tracks in Poland. And I've rolled. Poland is a really cool location. As you can see, we're currently starting on the tarmac, and there's lots of tarmac sections, but what makes that unique is that we're actually on a gravel setup, so it's quite slippery when you get there and you need to be really precise. Poland in general is very fast, it's very open. You've got some really wide vistas through the fields, and the track surface itself is a little bit more sandy, which is quite good. You get a lot of confidence on it, but it's extremely bumpy locations. As you can see here, we're just going absolutely flat out, but we're all the time having to deal with some small bumps on the road, compressions. We've also got grass in the middle of the road in a few places. And usually when you've got a flat out section, that means you have to then come to a tighter place like this junction. And there's lots of junctions in Poland where you have to really get on the brakes and be very confident with your car on the brakes that you're not going to lose the rear end. So my top 3 tips for smashing a good time in Poland is to be really precise with your steering, number 1. It's so easy to lose the precise middle point of the steering, especially with all the bumps. Number 2, you need to think really far ahead to prepare for heavy braking zones or corners over jumps, where if you go with a straight line, you're just going to jump into the ditch. And number 3 is to look out for the bails. I think it sounds like a strange one, but there's loads of bails on the insides of corners, on the outside of corners, so you can use them as braking markers, you can use them as markers for your apexes, or also things to avoid as well. Also, the 2 new locations look absolutely fantastic. The environment team's done such a good job on the research, and definitely the level of detail with different textures. You can really see also the foliage. It's just lots and lots of dense grass at the side of the road, which really hides those hidden rocks and all those obstacles at the side of the road. And the cool thing about both these locations is they got a lot of lakes and water surrounding them too, so they just look absolutely fantastic, and something you have to watch out for in real life as well is try not to drop it into a lake somewhere, because that's never good. Prepare for Rally Poland in the game. We've actually used 2 real life stages which have been used this season in the WRC. And I've competed on them before, so they are 1-to-1 scale, and the artists do a lot of research, gathering onboards, using even my own recce videos from years that I've done it to get every bit of detail correct. And you'll see that with all the different surfaces. You know, we've got different types of gravel, we've got cobblestone, tarmac, and all the challenges with the narrow villages. It's a really tough location from that standpoint, but that's the really cool thing, is that the stages that the drivers have been using this year in Poland, you can now drive some of those in-game, which is fantastic. So that's a quick look at Rally Poland. Now let's go to the next new track. So the second new location, we're here in Latvia, and it's such a fast track in the Baltics, and we've got one of the new cars as well, the Ford Puma 2024 version. It's been given an uplift on the model, all the same details that we have for the real car, and also the handling model has been reworked to give a fresh new feeling based on the real world data as well. So let's get into it. So off we go into this stage from Latvia, and you can see it's quite different from Poland with regards to the amount of bumps on the road. It's a lot flatter, it's also a little bit wider, but you have a lot of ditches at the side of the road, which you see a lot from the real world location, and you got to stay away from those, because if you hit them, you're either going to roll over or it's going to basically pull you off the road. So you've got to watch out for those ditches. The other thing is on the inside of some of the corners, you've got little log piles. But because this is such a fast location, and you know, in motorsport, we have to make sure the stages are safe in areas. You've actually got a lot of these chicanes with bales, so you really got to get your braking correct. And this is something you see a lot in real life that rally drivers have to deal with, and you have to be really precise to get through those chicanes. But it's just such a fast location. You've got long straights where you know, you can sit and have a cup of tea, but then you have to really think about the upcoming sections. And again, we're into a big braking zone for another chicane. Unlike Poland, there's not so many jumps in Latvia. Like I said earlier, it's a bit of a more flat location. So really it's all about trying to tune your car as well. You're probably going to be looking for a slightly longer gearing ratio just to really maximize those long straights. And because it's so fast, you could probably also stiffen your car up slightly. It's not so many tight corners, so you can really prioritize having a stable car, and yeah, recommend going a little bit stiffer. But there's also a lack of trees in Latvia. Something that I've noticed in real life whenever I've driven there is you have to think a lot about the corners which you can't see, and that means listening to your co-driver really carefully so that you don't miss any corners, because you don't have like a tree line or any definition of where the road goes from the roadside furniture. So you've got to really listen to those co-driver calls, and if I've set any of them up that you don't agree with, you can let me know on social media. But yeah, it's such a good location. Again, we're just coming up to one of the very few jumps. You can just see it's completely blind. You have no idea of where the road's turning. And I've rolled. I've got a puncher as well, which makes it all, you know, really realistic. You go off the road, you're going to do some damage. So that's a quick look at the two new locations for the 2024 update to EA Sports WRC. Really hope you enjoy it, and yeah, we'll see you out in the stages.